Hey folks, Maine Prepper here. I wanted to make this video on shotguns and shotgun shells. Shotguns for home defense. Okay, I bought this shotgun for 200 bucks. It's an H&R Harrington & Richardson 12 gauge pump shotgun, 18.5-inch barrel with a 5-round magazine on it, tube type, polymer stocks. It even has a rubberized stock, buttstock on it for a little bit of safety and comfort. When you do shoot it, or comfort than safety, I guess. The safety part would be that it's rubbery and it won't slip like a plastic one, but that's a minor issue. Okay, a few things to consider about a shotgun. You can go out and spend a gazillion dollars on a shotgun, and sometimes you get your money's worth. In the case for what I needed an additional shotgun just for home defense, and for use in and about when I travel as well. It's very good, very versatile weapon for that purpose. The shotgun, 12 gauge, 16, 20 gauge, and 410 are the most common ones. There's also 10 gauge out there. Stick with the 12 gauge shotgun. It has enough power to do the job, and it's also a very common caliber shotgun, and that's always a consideration when you're buying any weapon, is how expensive is the ammo. That's the first thing I do when I'm offered a weapon, is I go look up, I do my research, and I see how much the ammo is going to cost me and how available it is. The rarer it is, the harder it's going to be to get, and the more expensive it's going to cost you. So, just case in point, I picked up a bunch of slug and buckshot ammo, double-aught buckshot and slug, and I use those because sure, there's more spiffy calibers out there, there's more spiffy ammunition that you can use, but I use those because they're very common and they're very effective rounds. Each one of them has a special purpose, and there's another type of round that I'm going to talk to you about. But let me get back to shotguns real quick. When you buy a shotgun and you want to get a shorter barrel shotgun, go ahead and buy it with the barrel already cut from the factory. It comes this way. When I bought this shotgun, it's 18.5-inch barrel, and you see that little brass bead on the end of it? That is your front sight bead, and that's what it means to draw a bead on somebody. Put that bead on the center of your target and squeeze your trigger. I'm putting this up here close so you can see it, but if you were to take this shotgun and saw the barrel off, if you cut it shorter than 18 inches, that's federal offense. And right there you're asking for trouble you don't need. You don't want to get in trouble with guns. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to get in trouble with guns. I've had a friend of mine did a justifiable shooting. A guy broke into his house, and he wound up losing his security clearance, which meant he lost his job, which meant he lost his home, which meant he lost everything. All right, don't monkey around and alter the barrel yourself. If you do, it's obvious that you did. If you have to use this weapon in a defensive shooting and it winds up in court, the district attorney or the prosecutor may be prosecuting you because they may not be pro-gun. They may be anti-gun, even though you're in perhaps a red state. In that eventuality, they're going to use the fact that you altered this weapon yourself against you. It's going to look like they're going to paint you out to be some lunatic psycho, and you're out there altering weapons and luring people into your house so that you can kill them. So don't go there, all right? This is the way the weapon came from the factory. It is a factory standard. On that note, you don't want to modify your weapon too much and put heat shields and laser sights and bipods and bayonet lugs and everything else on there, because those don't really, there's a term I use called the juice ain't worth the squeeze, and I borrowed that from a friend named Tim. And what that means is you can get a little bit of extra performance out of the shotgun, but you're going to pay a lot of money for that. And the most important thing is, if you wind up being judged by a jury of your peers for using this weapon in a defensive shooting, and they lay that up there in front of a bunch of people that don't know anything about guns, or worse, they don't like guns, they're going to look at that and go, oh my God, this guy is some right-wing militia nut out there, and he's got this arsenal at home, and you don't want to do that. So don't beg trouble. In fact, if this shotgun had come with wooden furniture on it and it looked a little bit more like a hunting shotgun, I would have bought it hands down and paid a little extra for it just for that reason. On the stock, I recommend a Monte Carlo stock. That's what this is. This curve right here in the pistol grip is It's Monte Carlo. It's even checkered so you can get a little bit of grip if your hands are sweaty or if you get a little blood on there, God forbid. A full stock. The reason I recommend a full stock and not the pistol grip is because the pistol grip is awkward. And it's going to be your tendency, because you have a long barrel out there, when you go to shoot, you're going to stick this up in your face, but you're not going to have anything for the weapon to rest on in your shoulders. And when you squeeze or pull the trigger, it's going to leap back and smack you in the face. With the shoulder stock, you have bracing here. You also have the ability to club somebody with it if you needed to. You can butt stroke them if you had any training in close combat with a rifle. This is a good feature to have on there. But most importantly, you don't get any extra maneuverability from having that pistol grip on there. And again, that pistol grip starts to put it up in the category of having all of that fancy John Wayne I want to kill you sexy gear on the weapon. So think about that. I highly discourage you from putting a pistol grip on here, but that's just my personal opinion, and that's based on having used shotguns quite a bit. When you do shoot the shotgun, one key point: hold it tight in your shoulder. If you hold it loose, this thing has kick. If you hold it loose out here, squeeze the trigger, it's going to come back and smack you at a high rate of speed with a lot of power, and you're going to have a gigantic bruise on there. Okay, what is this bag that I've got across my shoulders? Well, those of you that have been in the military recognize it as a claymore bag, but some of you may also further recognize it that I probably have it full of shotgun shells. And if you guessed the latter, you're absolutely right. Let me lower this down just a little bit. Okay, now inside of here there's two pouches, and the way I have this laid out, it's real simple. I carry my extra ammunition here. This bag is sitting with the shotgun beside the bed, so if I have to go out and see what that is going bump in the night, I will be able to have a little bit of staying power. That is, if I've got 5 rounds in here and it turns out to be a serious situation that I'm entering into, I would like to have more than just 5 rounds and then be running back to the house and getting shot in the back on the way. So I've got about 100 rounds in this bag, and it's not that heavy. I can carry this around, and I'm not going that far with it. So if I go outside and see what that noise is in the chicken coop and it turns out to be a bear, okay, well, I had enough ammunition in here to take care of it. But if I go outside to see what that noise was on the back of the property and it turns into a rather protracted struggle, well, I doubt very seriously I'd put a big dent in this. I don't think anybody is going to be trying to go after me too much during peacetime. What about WROL? Well, it may very well be that you get pinned down, and in that case, believe me, having been in a firefight or two, there's nothing more sickening than firing your ammunition and realizing that you don't know when the firefight's going to end, and you're starting to get to the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. Nothing more heartening than seeing your comrade show up and bail you out when you are pinned down like that. I carry 2 kinds of ammunition, and these are the 2 kinds I recommend. The way I carry it, I've got one type of ammo in the front compartment, the other in the rear. I know exactly where they are. The front, the red, are slugs. These are rifled 1-ounce slugs. This is 2 3/4 inch shot shell. I can hold 5 in here. This slug will penetrate an engine block. It will also kill a human being, go through cinder blocks or anything else. Has a tremendous amount of penetrating power. Rear pouch, green slugs or green shells. These are double-aught buck. There are 9 .30 caliber pellets in here. When I fire this, if I hit a human being, it will kill them if I hit them center mass. One thing to keep in mind when you do shoot a shotgun, it doesn't put out this giant sweeping pattern that will go from one side of the freeway to the other and blow back cars and flip them in the air and all this other Hollywood nonsense. It actually will put out at 50 feet from this 18.5 inch barrel a pattern about that big around, which is adequate if I'm a fairly good aim. But that's why you do need to aim. You can't just put this on your hip and start blasting away and expect the bad guys to comply and stand in the line of fire and die for you. So with this double-aught buck on here, pattern about yay big at 50 to 75 feet. You probably won't be shooting people at further than that, and really with the 18.5 inch barrel it won't have too much. Obviously the slug, it will expand when it hits something, but it stays pretty much the same size when it goes out there, and it will travel true because this is a rifled slug. It will follow the path that you pointed on. And as with this weapon, sorry for flagging you with this, but you see the brass bead on there. One of the other great things about a shotgun is it's a psychological weapon. If you have to hold somebody hostage or a prisoner or whatever, and you do put this weapon on them, that gigantic barrel in their face That's quite intimidating, okay? That is not like looking at a .22 caliber, which is kind of scary in and of itself, but you point that in somebody's face and they know that it's being held by somebody that's serious. They are not going to mess around with that, okay? And that last part, that last locking of a round into the chamber, that's the one that really will get people's attention. If you're a single woman and you're at home and somebody's trying to break into your house and you hear somebody banging on your door, go to the door and do that. The bad boys will go away. They will probably not want to come in because they're looking for an easy target. They're looking for a pushover. They were hoping it was going to be a woman by herself alone, easy to target, and instead it's a woman with a shotgun. That's the equalizer. All right, folks, this has been Maine Prepper here with a real quick tutorial on shotgun. Easy, simple way. Hey, you don't have to go buy a U.S. Army 1-each Claymore bag. You can go down, ladies, if you got a purse with a couple of compartments. Use your purse. That would be really cool. I would love to see that at the range, a woman having a purse full of shotgun shells. That would be just totally awesome. You can go down and get bags. If you're handy with needle and thread, sew one up. 2 compartments on it. You don't even need the flap on there, for crying out loud. And then you just put this with the shotgun right beside the bed. It's always handy with your flashlight as well. All right, folks, Maine Prepper, I hope this was helpful, and see you soon.